Hi, this is Henry Lee and the Honk.
Hello.
The following episode was recorded before President Zelensky met President Trump and Russian ambassador to America, J.D. Vance, in the Oval Office.
Yes, indeed.
That meeting was so catastrophic, we are recording a special mini-episode of Instant Experts, which will follow this weekend, so stay tuned.
Yes, but right now, please enjoy episode 5 of Instant Experts.
Well, this week on Instant Experts, sacking the black guys, how Trump is increasing diversity by giving morons a go. 5 things I did this week, Elon Musk's reply to his boss, Satan. And in sport, the first NRL In Vegas shenanigans, aka the $1 favourite salutes.
They sure do.
Welcome back to Instant Experts, all the latest news explained to you by idiots, giving you a laugh to keep you sane in a crazy world, presented by me, Henry Lee, and my dear friend, the Honk. Honk, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Another week of crooks, fuckwits and morons.
It certainly has been. But before we get to them, shall we say hello to some of our listeners around the world?
It's the only nice thing we can think to say, right, is to talk about our listeners.
Indeed. And last week was our most listened to episode yet, so thank you for your support, and
Yes,
please keep sharing the show with your people. So this week, listeners joined us from all over Australia, of course.
We've got a super fan in Adelaide. Want to thank her.
Singapore, Argentina, Canada, the UK.
Yes.
And lots of places in the US. So we're getting bigger and bigger over there. We have listeners in Concord, North Carolina.
Yes.
Westerville, Ohio, and Moscow.
Moscow, yeah.
But our favourite place this week is a place called Kralendijk, which I thought was in Holland. It sort of is, but it's actually in the Netherlands, and in fact, the Dutch Caribbean.
There we go.
It's an island called Bonaire, which sits between, or in fact to the east of Curacao,
Yes.
as in the blue drink, and Aruba, as in Aruba, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
Yeah, you're not going to sing it.
Oh, I'm not going to see it.
All right.
Sing it, no. So the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, just off the coast of Venezuela, which, as we learned last week, has the highest crime rate in the world. So safe out there, Bonaire people, and go easy on the Blue Lagoons.
If you drink too many Blue Lagoons, I assume what happens is you get in a shipwreck, you wash up on a desert island, and then next thing you know, you're naked with Brooke Shields. Is that?
That's not
you have
so
a baby,
bad.
then you end up having a baby with Brooke Shields.
Gentlemen of our vintage dreamed of that many a time in the 80s, surely.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. We say it every week. It's not supposed to be a podcast about Trump, but it is a podcast about fuckwits and morons. And there's new news every week. One of many exciting events of the week was Trump sacking a gentleman named C.Q. Brown.
He had a corker of a week sacking people, didn't he?
He was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, in other words, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. So it's the most senior post in the US military. And by an extraordinary coincidence, C.Q. Brown is black.
That's a complete coincidence, and I don't like where you're headed with this. I don't like it.
And the explanation from the new Defence Secretary, a friend of the show, the alcoholic Pete Hegseth,
Yeah, he's a great guy, fantastic guy.
was that any general involved with DEI efforts should be fired.
Yeah, well,
Being black, does that mean you're inherently involved in DEI efforts?
yeah. What do they call Pete Hegseth? I like what they're calling Pete Hegseth now. Not a DEI hire. What are they calling him?
Yeah, it referred to as the DUI hire.
Superb.
But Hegseth's defence was you're in for war fighting as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and that's it. That's the only thing we care about, the only litmus test we care about for a tautology. Meanwhile, these people that pulled the rug out from under the people who are actually fighting a war, the Ukrainians.
Of course, yeah.
But they strenuously denied they sacked him because he's black. But let's unpack this one.
Yeah, please. So what did you say? The first thing is he's a 4-star general, right?
4-star general.
Yeah.
He was previously head of the Air Force.
Yes.
He was a fighter pilot.
Yeah. How many combat hours?
130 combat hours.
Right. And who they replaced him with? What's magnificent genius?
So the guy's a total badass, right?
Right.
And they replaced him with a guy called Dan Kane.
Yeah, not Dean Kane.
Not Dean Kane.
They didn't
Superman,
confuse him with from the Lois and Clark in New Adventures of Superman. No.
Trump, he might have thought it was him. So Dan Kane, who was a 3-star general, so you had a 4-star, you replaced him with a 3-star general.
Well, they're trying to cut costs. That's Doge, isn't it? They're trying to save money.
It could be Doge.
Yeah,
that's 25% off.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
So they sacked as fighter pilot, so they could bring in a fighter pilot, a less qualified one. So they're really missing that skill set.
Yeah.
And they're saying that it's not racism.
It's not racism. It's not. We've looked into this. It's not racism. They just don't think hip hop is a legitimate form of music.
Let me guess. He voted for Beyonce when she won Best Country Album at the Grammys.
It's got nothing to do with it. Look, they looked into him and they had some concerns. You know, it's got nothing to do with race. But he did get pulled over by cops a lot in his car. And he must have done something, right? It's not like the cops would pull over a black guy for no reason, right?
Yeah. I think the real issue he wasn't a member of any of Trump's country clubs.
Yeah. I mean, did he apply?
Well, he applied, obviously.
But
it's a golf course, brother. It's not the NBA.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, he knew the risks. But he didn't just fire. I mean, it's not just black guys he's declared war on. Sorry, nothing to do with him being black.
Yeah.
He's also declared war on, he fired Lisa Fraschetti, didn't he?
Yeah, Lisa Fraschetti. Admiral Lisa Fraschetti. Yeah, first woman to lead the Navy. So, so again, nothing to do with being female, of course.
No. There might be good reasons for that one, though.
What?
Well, Pete Hegseth's probably a bit nervous. He might accidentally, molest her, feel her up.
Yes,
what if accidentally he left his wife for her, married her, had 3 kids with her, and then left her for another woman?
Yeah, or Dan Kane.
Or Dan Kane, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Fair enough. I think that one's fair enough.
Hegseth is planning to get rid of women in the military entirely to keep them safe from him. So
indeed, yeah.
Maybe that wasn't a DEI issue. The Vice Chief of the Air Force also got boned.
They wanted Tom Cruise for that role, don't they?
Probably.
Because they want a guy who's broken every known rule in the Air Force, so they have no choice but to promote him to the highest rank, and then train the future of the Air Force and take on Syrians and Russians. Not Russians.
Not
Ukrainians.
Ukrainians.
Yeah.
The bad guys.
What else
the real bad guys.
Yeah.
He sacked the top lawyers from the Army, Navy, and Air Force. So
JAG.
Yeah, the JAG. So those fans of the TV show.
Yeah. Well, Trump always hated the show.
Yeah. Well, he never followed the legal stuff.
Couldn't follow the plot.
Yeah. He's had trouble with the law over the years. So.
He has, yes, and following the law and the law itself, indeed. Yeah.
But look, I think the incident expert conclusion is it looks like racism and sexism. It smells like racism and sexism, but they are really just diversity hires. They've gone from 100% qualified people to 50% fucking morons.
Morons are people too. A lot of them voted for Trump. They deserve a chance to.
That's true. They are representing their constituency. That's fair.
Yeah.
At the highest echelons.
It's their time to have their finger on the button.
Yeah.
Not in their own ass.
Indeed. The shenanigans have continued. Trump, has, as we know, has had issues with the media for a long time, particularly independent media.
He has.
And he's now kicked them out of the White House press room.
He kicked AP out, didn't he? Associated Press.
But he's kicked out Reuters and Thompson as well, I think.
Yeah. So he kicked out AP for refusing to go along with this idiotic thing in which he wanted to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Right.
And then
didn't Don Jr. want to rename South Florida as well, the Cocaine Coast?
It's got a ring to it.
Yeah, just to drive visitation to Mar-a-Lago.
Did he have a problem getting people coke dealers to come to Mar-a-Lago? I'm guessing not.
Thought so.
But yeah, you're right. So Trump is now handpicking which media outlets.
Right.
It's not just who's allowed in the briefing room, but who's allowed to follow him when he's travelling.
Yeah. Now that would be a disgraceful attack on free speech had he not called us first, desperate to get us in there.
But we've said no, haven't we?
Yeah, we've said no, because if Reuters can't go, we won't go.
Yeah, so it's got nothing to do with what we previously talked about, which is that he's refused to give us a slice of the tariffs on Greenland.
That's true.
It's got nothing to do with that.
Progress has been slow, yes.
Yeah, it's been pretty slow. So who we've got, look, we've been slipped, it's not public yet, we've been slipped the list of the new, what's good is it's a chance to, like you said about the FBI, fresh blood, right?
Okay.
They want to open up the brief room or White House briefing room, but also like Trump's Air Force One, briefing of journalists to new media outlets.
So you've got different sources to me. I don't have the list. Who's on the list?
I've been listed. So there's a good list. It's some good new,
independent
independent media.
Podcasters.
Hustlers Black Label Edition. Big Guns Monthly.
Big Guns Monthly. Is that a firearms publication or a gay porn mag?
Either way. It's fresh blood.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, no. and Pravda.
Of course.
Obviously Pravda.
A bastion of truth for the free world.
Magnificent
fuckwit and moron. Now, again, it wouldn't be instant experts without a little Elon Musk action. And he's had another brilliant week.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of instant experts, he's demonstrated his instant expertise all week, right?
Yes.
So he's the guy, we talked about this, he's the guy that his big move this week we all know about was directing all federal employees to send him 5 bullet points on what they had done that week, and they had to CC their boss.
Yes, which is a trick he's used to fire people at his private companies previously. But
so tell us what happened.
So he sent that to every employee in the federal government.
Yes.
What did you do? What did you get done this week? And unsurprisingly, all the people who worked at the CIA, FBI, and Department of Justice didn't think it was a very good idea to send 5 bullet points. Here's a list of people we've been spying on.
Yes.
Here's our list of spies. Here are the
Trump,
cases we're working on.
The problem is Trump would be on the list, right?
Exactly.
The case we're working on, yeah. It's one of those accidentally on purpose assassinating of Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
You dare to dream. But so that was an incredibly stupid thing to ask of them, although given Musk probably worked for Russia as well, maybe not. And so it didn't go down very well, so much so that staff at one of the federal departments, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, played an AI-generated video of Trump kissing Musk's feet in their downstairs cafeteria.
They ran it on a loop. It ran for hours. But it was a bit
I don't think anyone was in a hurry to turn it off.
No, but a bit embarrassing because one of the people who did actually do the right thing. See, Trump wants to put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
And so he did the right thing. Yeah, he replied.
Who did he CC? Who was his boss?
Well, Putin. He obviously CC'd Putin. He replied to Elon, so that was a bit embarrassing. And we've talked about some of his 5 things already.
Yeah.
But we've got to talk about some of Musk's 5 things this week. He did more than 5 things.
Yeah, and as we said at the top of the show, he CC'd his boss. Who,
where do you begin?
Quite obviously is Satan.
Clearly Satan.
So what was first on the list, Honko?
Well, first was more magic from Doge, the Department of Government Expenditure.
So last week they sacked the nuclear warhead people.
Not knowing that they're responsible for nuclear warheads. And they failed to work out that, in fact, there were 2 Gazas. So they alleged that there was $50 million being spent every year on condoms for Gaza. But they didn't understand that, in fact, that's Gaza in Mozambique, not in the Middle East.
So how have they followed those hits up?
They did it. You'd think they couldn't do it, but they did it. They cut all the funding to the USAID funding to the Ebola response team.
Right. And wasn't there an Ebola outbreak in Uganda?
That's a complete coincidence. Total coincidence. Yeah. And then if you then called that number there was no one to answer the phone.
Ebola is like the deadliest disease in the world.
Yeah, no one could answer the phone because they're too busy shitting blood from their eyes, ears and fingernails.
What was item 2 on his list? Actually, I know the answer to this question.
What is it?
This is we say this every week. This is Mr. Everyone should work 100 hours and must be at the office every day.
Footnote.
Musk has, through his personal shenanigans, has managed to wipe $330 billion
Fuck me.
off the market value of Tesla. It's lost more than half its value since the election, owing to the brand damage that he's doing. And of course, Musk has not been seen at the office all week.
Well, can you imagine? It actually would have been. Could have lost. If he was in the office, could have lost a lot, right?
He could have lost more if he'd worked hard.
It's true. Yeah.
There was a nice story during the week of someone in London put up an ad that they'd commissioned, which showed a picture of Musk doing a Hitler salute out of the sunroof of a Tesla, and the caption was, "Goes from 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds."
Superb. What's the other thing? What's the other thing they now call the Tesla? I love
Tesla,
it.
the swastika.
Yeah.
And in fact, the brand damage is so bad that we believe that Musk himself might have switched cars.
Well, we talked about this last week. We were speculating, the 13 kids, we were speculating that for Saturday Sport he'd need a Kia Carnival, right? But it's not. We found out it's not a Kia Carnival.
Well, the decline of the share price, he's had to go for a Toyota Tarago.
Yeah.
But I think the key point is probably even he, at this stage, is embarrassed to be seen in a Tesla.
So
that was number 2 on Musk's list. Number 3 is a personal favourite of mine.
Yes, go on.
Musk tweeted, and bear in mind he has 218 million followers. 218 million followers on Twitter /X. He tweeted that Canada is, quote, not a real country.
Yeah. Did Canada reply?
They did.
And what they say?
They said, "We are a real country, and guess what? You're a real country."
That's the only thing they could have said, right? But he also had, during the week, there was also this CPAC. The CPAC is the Conservative Political Action Committee conference, and he had some corkers there. Musk appeared, I don't know if you saw this, in these massive dark sunglasses, wearing a gold chain like he's some, like some rap star.
And he had a chainsaw, didn't he?
Yeah, so he was coked to the eyeballs. I mean, obviously the video, the guy could not move his mouth, which was pleasant, but it's a pleasant change. Yeah, he was given a chainsaw by, it was the president of Argentina, is it? Who's now gone mad.
It's usually the Saudi Arabians that are into that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but this time occasion he was given a ceremonial chainsaw to celebrate cutting things. But of course, it's perfectly appropriate for him because he did not turn on, cut nothing. What else did he do? He forgot his own kid.
He forgot his own kids. That's traditional. That's right.
He had Zavrock 3000, whatever the fuck the kid's name is.
Yeah.
On the stage at some point. He goes off the stage, leaves the kid behind to wander off on his own.
Having said that, I think it's a self-driving robot child. So.
Oh yeah, fair enough. He thought he was coming
conditions normal, but we did. We spent a lot of time on Muskie's tangled love life last week, and wife number 2, or is that Roman 11?
Who knows?
The pop singer Grimes.
Yeah.
She managed to send a tweet during the week saying, please respond about our child's medical crisis. I'm not making this up. We sometimes make things up on this show.
This is a tweet.
Not making the Grimes said, please respond about our child's medical crisis. I'm sorry to do this publicly, but it is no longer acceptable to ignore this situation. This requires immediate attention.
Jesus Christ.
And this is addressed to Musk. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so that we can move forward on solving this? This is urgent, Elon.
Do you know what he replied to this? He replied with the words, whoa.
No, I think that was the new child.
Oh, the new child.
That was the new child.
Yeah, right.
That was wife number 4. This is number 2.
Oh, I apologise.
But they both have to communicate with Musk through Twitter.
Yeah, what a quality guy.
And even then he hadn't replied, although 751,000 people have viewed it and 147 other people have kindly replied to this message.
But another thing, he spoke of X, has appeared this week in relation to Grimes.
Yes.
So just talk us through this.
Well, I hope we're a bastion of high-quality journalism, so
yeah.
much so that we're in demand by the White House. So I don't want you to be spreading any vicious, sordid and absolutely delicious rumours.
Unless they're really good. Unless they're really good.
All right, hit me.
So the story goes, according to Grimes, seems to say, the story goes that people have attributed to Grimes a story that the reason that he's had so many of these 107 kids he's had by IVF is that he had a botched penis implant. It was a botched job.
And do you believe it?
No, I think that what I heard, our mail, we looked into this. We spoke to the clinic that performed the operation. We looked into this. This was good reporting by us.
This is a reputable implantation organisation.
Yeah. Dongs are us. And the implant went perfectly. The problem was he just damaged it through ordinary wear and tear. Because he's fucking jammed it in the arse of everyone who's ever worked with, every investor, every employee. And if you fuck over enough people in the butt with your implant, at some point it's going to go down, right?
Well, certainly there are plenty of people around the world, not limited to the US federal government and the US stock market, the NASDAQ, who are feeling it
feeling the botched implant in the butt.
Indeed. Well, it couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
But the CPAC was a fucktacular in general. You tell me Liz Truss, the former UK Prime Minister.
That was my highlight, former UK Prime Minister Liz Truss.
So she was meant to. I assume she was meant to speak for 10 minutes, but did she get replaced like 3 minutes in?
Yeah, she was on stage B2, which I liked.
Who was on the main stage?
Well, obviously it was the lettuce.
What are you talking about?
Well, our UK listeners will remember this with great fondness. So Liz Truss became Prime Minister of the UK in late 2022. There was almost immediately a crisis. Yeah. And The Economist compared her likely term of office to the shelf life of a head of lettuce. Uh-oh. And then its sister publication, the tabloid The Daily Star, began a live stream of a framed photo of Truss and a lettuce. Indeed. And the beauty of it was, so for a week, the nation is transfixed by a live stream of a photo of Liz Truss and a lettuce.
So who's going to park it first?
And Truss resigned within 6 days, and the lettuce was still going strong.
So the lettuce had not wilted when she was gone.
The lettuce was going strong. She was beaten by a lettuce, and hence the lettuce speaking on stage A at CPAC. All right, well, let's keep moving.
So didn't the Daily Star declare the lettuce victorious?
Yeah, by unanimous decision. All right, let's keep moving. So my business news, which is I'm partial to, there was a great story during the week.
Yes.
Crypto, the future of money. An exchange called Bybit was hacked, and $1.5 billion US dollars worth of currency called Ethereum was stolen.
Shit.
It's the biggest crypto theft ever. And basically a hacker got control of a crypto wallet, transferred the tokens to other addresses and started selling them. So, and the beauty of it is the culprit is believed to be North Korea.
What the fuck?
I mean, who'd have thought a country that basically doesn't have electricity?
Well, let's before we even get to North Korea, isn't this supposed to be the most secure thing?
It's like, it's supposed to be the most blockchain, super secure, future of money. It's going to take over the world.
No fear it's been stolen by a country without electricity.
Yeah, so it's basically a whole bunch of electrons have been stolen by a country without electricity.
Surely.
Yeah, so it's a massive screw up, but on the upside, the electrons shouldn't be too hard to find in North Korea. They'll be the only ones there. Probably.
Since when do they accept crypto in North Korea? What are they going to do with it? My question is, what are they going to do with it?
I thought they only accepted bark, stone tools, and fire.
And also, one, who do they accept the crypto? Two,
what can you buy in North Korea?
What can you buy in North Korea? How many
portraits of Kim Jong Un and nuclear weapons, and they're the only things I'm aware of.
Yeah, I mean, if you rent, is it ticket they can renovate their house, like a new coat of mud for the floor of the house, or maybe it's to buy? It's North Korea. Maybe you can buy a lot of toilet paper so you don't have to keep using the cat. I don't know. Teeth. Yeah. What else could you buy? Burial plot for mum. She's digging up a living room.
Oh, there you go. Well, the perils of investing in electrons. Try land.
Good luck to North Korea.
We're not making more of that stuff.
No.
All right, we've got a very short time, so punch through some Aussie stuff quickly.
Yes.
Update on the Temu fleet, the Chinese.
Still in this part of the world.
Yes, and they actually, there is an update. The real Chinese Navy was firing. So it was a live fire, it's called, in the Tasman Sea between Australia and New Zealand. And if that's not bad enough, the Australian government only found out from a Virgin pilot.
Jesus. And they did nothing about it.
And, well, presumably they thought it was just a notification saying the plane was late.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Most of my notifications from Virgin are.
Well, that might be why China fired, because China's so sick of Virgin's shit, they just couldn't take it anymore.
They were firing the plane.
They were acting out, firing the plane, yeah.
Yeah, but the real tragedy is, I mean, it was live fire, and there were casualties.
Who were the casualties?
Well, they killed every vowel in New Zealand.
What's like talk?
Almost killed every vowel in New Zealand.
I see.
Sorry,
I
bro.
get you. Yeah, but I mean, Albo. I understand why Albo missed the warning, because he doesn't. I mean, that would have been the first text he's ever had from Virgin Australia, wouldn't it?
He is a Qantas man.
He's a Qantas man. There's no
Chairman's Club.
no Chairman's Club. Yeah.
All right, so in sports news, very quickly, Philadelphia Eagles, who we previewed in the Super Bowl edition a couple of weeks ago, have won the Super Bowl, obviously, and then refused to go to the White House for the traditional welcome. And that was believed to be led by their star running back, Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
And he's believed to have said, and I quote, "Saquon that Donald."
Have you been waiting all week to say that?
Canada beat USA in the ice hockey on the scoreboard, and more importantly, in the face.
In the face, the throat, the ding-dongs, the Jats crackers, the liver.
So the US anthem was booed. They didn't even start with the puck. They just had a punch-up straight away.
There's always a punch-up in ice hockey, but these guys didn't even get the puck on the ice.
No,
right?
they just started punching each other. And Trudeau memorably said, you can't take our country, and you can't take our game.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the big story of the week is NRL. We've talked about the bad boys of the NRL.
This is one of Australia's 3,000 codes of football.
They're
National
playing
Rugby League.
their first round in Las Vegas, and the chances...
Because of course you would, right?
The chances of something going wrong off the field are virtually 100%, and we didn't have to wait long. So tell us about it, Honky.
Well, this is very strange. These two guys who play for a team called the Canberra Raiders in Vegas punched each other out. They're best mates, aren't they? They literally had Christmas together. Their girlfriends are on holidays together while these guys are in Vegas. What are the details there? I couldn't quite...
So what I read was that there were supposed to be 2 rooms booked, one room per player, but only one reservation could be found.
Yeah.
So player A is suggested to player B that they might share a room.
Let's call these guys, what are we going to call them? Like Jaden and Braden. Let's call them Jaden and Braden.
Bear and Brian, they were best mates. And
So best mate Jaden punched Braden in the face because Braden suggested that they share a room. And so then what happened? So then
what are you afraid of?
Well, didn't Braden then end up sharing a room
so Braden
with...
ends up playing...
Caden.
Sharing a room with a player from a different club.
From Penrith,
I mean, that's very unusual behaviour. It sounds to me like a cry for help.
Got a touch of the Brokeback Mountains about it.
It does, like a deep denial.
He can't quit him.
It's like Proud Boys style level of deep denial.
Yeah, but their team, famous player for the Canberra Raiders, Ricky Stewart, is now the coach, and he made them front the media themselves and apologise. And that to me is very Brokeback Mountain. That's like him doing.
What did he say?
Well, he was like, "You boys," like in Brokeback Mountain, wasn't he? Like, "You boys sure found a way to keep yourselves warm during that training session, didn't you? You boys." I wish them well. And these things happen. You discover in your life at a certain point that you're not just a rugby league player. You have love for your teammates.
Love is love.
Love is love.
We're not judging. Come out and be done with it. All right. Yeah. That's all we have time for, probably more than we have time for. Thanks again for your support. Please like, subscribe, and particularly share. We're now, despite our misgivings about Musk, on X, so please follow us at Instant Experts X and retweet.
Yes.
And
look for us very soon on Instagram as well and on Facebook.
And we'll be back next week because stupid never stops. But
stupid never sleeps, that's right.
To take us out, we thought we'd go back to the source and post the soundtrack from a video posted by President Trump / Krasnov during the week.
Just tell them what it was, what they're seeing, not seeing.
We did a piss take of Trump Gaza a couple of weeks ago, might have been episode 2. Now Trump has literally posted a video, an AI-generated video of conceptual Trump Gaza, and it includes a golden statue of Trump.
Yeah. Now this, by the way, just by way of context, this is about Trump's proposal that they get rid of all the Palestinians in Gaza and that he then oversee redeveloping it into the
resort,
the Riviera of hell, basically.
Yeah. So it features a golden statue of Trump, a topless Trump sipping cocktails in a banana chair next to Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm not making this up.
That probably happens already.
And Musk eating hummus and pita and dancing in dollars.
Yeah.
That's
very unusual.
Honk, you previously described Trump Gaza as the vision for Trump Gaza as a porn set designed by a mob boss.
Yeah.
But that, I think, does a disservice to both the mob and the adult entertainment industry. Very fine people.
But by the way, it's not just the video. I mean, the song. There's a song, which is what we want you to hear, which is unbelievable.
And we'll let it speak for itself. See you next week.
See you next week.
Donald is coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one. Trump Gaza, shining bright. Golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one.